Our 10th anniversary. I had dinner arranged at Morello's, the same Italian restaurant where I'd dropped to one knee a decade ago. Reservations set for 7 p.m., her favorite table by the window overlooking the street. I left work early that day, something I almost never do. Stopped by the jeweler to pick up the bracelet I've been quietly paying off for 6 months and drove home to shower and change. The house was empty. No car in the driveway, no music playing inside, no note on the counter. I called her, straight to voicemail. I sent a text, nothing. That's when I remembered the app. We'd installed Find My Phone on each other's devices a couple of years back, just in case, she'd said. Emergencies, peace of mind. I opened it. Her phone was active, moving. Not toward downtown, not toward the restaurant. It was heading east, past the nicer neighborhoods, toward the rundown strip by Route 9. I watched the blue dot inch across the map and then stop. Starlight Motel, the kind of place that advertises weekly rates and keeps the curtains closed all day, the kind of place that rents rooms by the hour. My hands went cold on the steering wheel. I sat there in my driveway staring at that little blue dot and felt 10 years of marriage split clean down the center. Then I did something I'd never done before. I drove to a flower shop, bought the largest arrangement they had, roses, lilies, everything loud and dramatic, and wrote a note. The florist smiled and asked, "What would you like it to say?" I smiled back. "Happy anniversary. Your husband knows. Room 237. She hesitated. "Sir, are you sure you just want it delivered?" I said, "Room 237, Starlight Motel." I paid cash, added a $100 tip to make sure there were no delays. Then I parked my truck across the street from that motel and waited. If you want to know what happened when those flowers arrived, hit subscribe, because what I saw through that motel window changed everything. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 38 years old, and I live in Asheville, North Carolina. I work as a project manager for a mid-sized construction company. My alarm goes off at 5:30 every morning. I make coffee in the dark, leave before the sun's up, and spend my days coordinating crews, budgets, deadlines. I'm dependable. I fix problems before they get expensive. I return calls. I show up when I say I will. For 10 years, I believed that was what being a good husband meant. Consistency, stability, keeping your word. I thought my wife, Lauren, valued that. I thought it mattered. What I didn't understand is that reliability doesn't spark excitement, and showing up doesn't mean anything if the person you're showing up for checked out a long time ago. Lauren and I met in college at UNC Asheville. She was studying marketing, ambitious and sharp. I was buried in engineering textbooks. We met at a crowded house party junior year. She laughed at one of my dry jokes about structural load limits, and I remember being surprised she even understood it. She had this way of tilting her head when she listened, like she was genuinely curious. We dated 3 years, got married right after graduation. Small wedding in her parents' backyard, string lights in the trees, homemade cake. We didn't have much money, but we had plans. She wanted to climb the ladder at a big agency someday. I wanted to build projects that would stand for decades. We rented a tiny apartment in West Asheville, shared one car, stretched every dollar. We told ourselves it was romantic. Those early years were good. We stayed up too late talking about the future, kids, a house with a wraparound porch, trips to Europe when we could afford it. We were building something together, or at least I thought we were. I believed we were teammates. The changes didn't happen all at once. Around year 5, Lauren landed a job at a marketing firm downtown. Better pay, bigger clients. She started coming home later. Big campaign, she'd say. Client meetings, networking dinners. I didn't question it. I was proud of her. Around year 7, she joined a new gym, bought clothes I hadn't seen before, cut her hair shorter, started wearing perfume even on weekdays. "I just want to feel confident again," she said. I told her she looked beautiful. I meant it. By year 8, intimacy faded. Not overnight, it was gradual, like a faucet turning down one drip at a time, until one day you realize it's completely dry. I tried to talk about it. She blamed stress, work, exhaustion. "It's not you, Nathan. I'm just overwhelmed." I gave her space. I thought that's what supportive husbands did. By year 9, we weren't partners anymore. We were roommates, sharing expenses. I left before she woke up. She came home after I'd already eaten. Weekends, she had brunch with coworkers. I spent hours in the garage working on projects. We didn't argue. We didn't scream. We just existed beside each other in quiet parallel lines. I told myself every marriage has seasons. I told myself this was temporary. I told myself if I just stayed steady, we'd find our way back. October 14th, our 10th anniversary, fell on a Saturday. I'd been planning it for weeks. Dinner at Morello's, the exact table by the window where I'd proposed a decade ago. I called ahead to make sure it was available. I picked up the bracelet, white gold, her birthstone, our anniversary date engraved inside. I even rearranged meetings to leave work early. I wanted to remind her of who we were. Maybe remind myself, too. I got home at 4 p.m. The house was silent. No sign of her. I called, voicemail. I texted, no response. I waited 20 minutes, called again. Nothing. That's when a cold feeling started spreading in my chest. Lauren wasn't careless. She always answered, unless she chose not to. I sat on the edge of our bed staring at my phone. And then I remembered the tracking app. We'd set it up after a friend's car broke down on a road trip, just in case, for safety. I opened it. Her phone was in motion, heading east, past downtown, past the restaurants and breweries, toward the industrial stretch near Route 9. Then it stopped. Starlight Motel. The Starlight wasn't somewhere you booked for a romantic getaway. It was peeling paint and buzzing neon. It was cigarette burns in the parking lot and blackout curtains. It was anonymity. I stared at that blue dot until my eyes blurred. My mind scrambled for alternatives. Maybe she was meeting a friend. Maybe there was a work shoot. Maybe. But deep down, I already knew. I grabbed my keys and left. Not for the motel, not yet. I drove downtown to a flower shop on Lexington I'd passed 100 times but never entered. A woman behind the counter smiled. "Can I help you?" "I need the biggest arrangement you've got. Roses, lilies, make it impossible to ignore." "Anniversary?" she asked. "Something like that." As she assembled the flowers into a dramatic, oversized display, she asked about the card. I thought about the bracelet in my pocket, the reservation, the empty house. "Happy anniversary," I said slowly. "Your husband knows. Room 237. She paused, looked at me carefully. "Sir?" "Room 237, Starlight Motel. I need it there within the hour." I paid in cash. $200 for the arrangement, a $100 tip to make sure it moved to the top of the list. Then I drove to Route 9. The Starlight looked worse up close. Single-story building wrapped around a cracked asphalt lot. Neon vacancy sign flickering. The V burned out. Cigarette butts everywhere. A soda machine by the office that probably hadn't worked in years. I parked across the street in the lot of a shuttered gas station. From there, I could see room 237 clearly. Curtains drawn tight, Lauren's car parked 3 spaces over. I recognized the dent in the rear bumper when she hit a mailbox last summer. Beside it sat a black Audi, polished and expensive. I didn't recognize that one. I sat there with the engine off, hands resting on the steering wheel. A part of me wanted to storm across the lot and kick the door in, but another part of me, the part that manages million-dollar projects, knew better. You don't act without a plan. You observe, you document, you gather proof. So I waited. About 20 minutes later, the flower shop van rolled into the lot. The driver, a young woman, stepped out carrying the massive arrangement. She checked her phone, scanned the room numbers, and climbed the exterior stairs. I watched her knock. The door opened. A man answered. Mid-40s, tall, dress shirt unbuttoned at the collar, confident posture. He took the flowers with a puzzled look. She said something. He glanced down at the card. His expression shifted instantly. He turned toward the inside of the room and called out. A second later, Lauren stepped into view behind him. Even from across the street, I saw the color drain from her face. She took the card from his hand, read it. Her head snapped toward the parking lot, scanning, searching, panic written all over her. I didn't move. The man grabbed her arm, pulled her back inside. The door slammed shut. The delivery driver stood there awkwardly for a moment, then walked back to her van and drove away. I remained in my truck, heart steady, breathing controlled. What surprised me most was the calm. I wasn't shaking, I wasn't yelling, I wasn't crying. I was clear. For the first time in years, I wasn't guessing, I wasn't hoping, I wasn't pretending. I knew exactly what I was dealing with. I didn't walk up to that room. I didn't need to. I had everything I required. I pulled out my phone and started documenting. Photos of Lauren's car, the black Audi, the room number 237. I opened my Find My Phone and took screenshots of her location, time-stamped and undeniable. I uploaded every image to a cloud folder, then backed it up again. Then I drove home. I sat in my driveway for a long time. The house looked the same as it had 2 hours ago. Same porch light, same flower pots Lauren planted last spring, but it didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a crime scene. I walked inside. The silence was deafening. I went to the bedroom, opened Lauren's nightstand. I wasn't sure what I was looking for, just something. I found it, in the back of the drawer under a stack of old magazines. A second phone. Cheap, prepaid, the kind you buy at a gas station with cash. I turned it on. No password. The messages loaded. Hundreds of them, all to the same number. I scrolled through. Can't wait to see you. He's working late again. We have time. I'm so tired of pretending. The most recent message was from this morning. Starlight, room 237, 4 p.m. Happy anniversary to us. I set the phone down, sat on the edge of the bed, and for the first time in 10 years, I let myself feel it. Not the betrayal, not the anger, the relief. Because now I knew, and knowing meant I could finally move forward. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the kitchen table with a yellow legal pad and started making a list. Not an emotional list, a practical one. 1. Lawyer. 2. Bank accounts. 3. Separate finances. 4. Document everything. 5. Don't engage. I'd managed construction projects worth millions of dollars. I knew how to build a plan. This was just another project. The only difference, this time I was demolishing instead of building. Around 2 a.m., I heard a car pull into the driveway. The front door opened, closed, footsteps in the hallway. Lauren appeared in the kitchen doorway. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was a mess. She looked at me. I looked at her. For a long moment, neither of us spoke.
Then she said, "Nathan." I held up a hand. "Don't. I can explain." "I don't want to hear it." Her face crumpled. "Please, just let me." "How long?" I asked. She froze. "How long, Lauren?" She looked down. 2 years. 2 years? I nodded slowly. "Who is he?" "It doesn't matter." "Who is he?" She swallowed. "His name is Derek. He's a client." "A client?" "Nathan, it wasn't supposed to happen. It just—" "Stop," I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. "I don't want the story. I don't want the excuses. I just want you to know that I know." She stared at me. "What are you going to do?" I stood up, picked up the legal pad. "I'm going to bed. You can sleep in the guest room. Tomorrow, we'll talk about how this ends." "Nathan!" I walked past her, didn't look back. Behind me, I heard her start to cry. I didn't stop. The next morning, I called a lawyer. His name was Richard Moss, a guy I'd worked with on a commercial project 2 years ago. Tough, smart, no nonsense. "Nathan," he said when he picked up. "What's going on?" "I need a divorce attorney." There was a pause. "I'm sorry to hear that." "Don't be. I just need someone who's good." "I know someone best in Asheville. Her name's Andrea Calloway. I'll text you her number." "Thanks, Richard." "Nathan," he said before I could hang up, "whatever you're feeling right now, don't make any big moves until you talk to her." "Okay." "Okay." I met Andrea that afternoon. Her office was downtown, clean, professional, walls lined with law books. She was in her 50s, sharp eyes, firm handshake. "Tell me what happened," she said.
I told her all of it. The app, the motel, the flowers, the second phone. She took notes, didn't interrupt. When she finished, she set down her pen. Do you have proof? I pulled out my phone, showed her the screenshots, the photos, the messages from the burner phone. She scrolled through, nodded. This is good. This is very good. What happens now? Now, she said, we file. North Carolina is a no-fault state, but adultery still matters, especially when it comes to alimony and asset division. I don't want to drag this out, I said. I just want it done. Understood. But Nathan, you need to be smart about this. Don't leave the house. Don't give her ammunition. And whatever you do, don't let her know you've lawyered up until we're ready to file. How long will that take? A week, maybe 2. I'll draft everything, and then we'll serve her. I nodded. Okay. She leaned forward. One more thing. How are you doing emotionally? I thought about it. I'm fine. You're not fine, she said gently. No one's fine after this, but you will be eventually. I stood up, shook her hand. Thank you. We'll get through this, she said. For the next 10 days, I lived in my own house like a ghost. Lauren tried to talk to me. I didn't engage. She cried. I didn't respond. She asked if we could go to counseling. I said no. Nathan, please, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said. It's already broken. I made a mistake. You made a choice, I corrected. For 2 years. That's not a mistake. That's a decision. She didn't have an answer for that. On day 11, Andrea called. We're ready. Okay. The process server will deliver the papers tomorrow at her office, 10 a.m. Good. Nathan, she said after she served, things are going to get ugly. She's going to be angry. She's going to try to negotiate. Don't engage. Let me handle it. I will. And one more thing, change your locks today. I did. The next morning, I went to work like normal. At 10:15, my phone buzzed. A text from Lauren. What the F did you just do? I didn't respond. Another text. You can't just serve me at work. Do you know how humiliating that is? I turned off my phone. At lunch, Andrea called. She's been served. Her lawyer just reached out. They want to meet. When? Friday, 2 p.m. I'll be there. The meeting was in Andrea's conference room. Lauren sat across from me with her attorney, a man named Paul something, slick suit, too much cologne. Lauren's eyes were red. She looked smaller than I remembered. Paul started. Mr. Cross, my client is willing to negotiate a fair settlement. No, Andrea interrupted. We're not negotiating. We're presenting terms. She slid a folder across the table. Mrs. Cross committed adultery. We have documented proof. Text messages, photos, timestamps. Under North Carolina law, that affects her claim to alimony. Paul opened the folder. His face tightened. This is ironclad, Andrea finished. Your client had an affair for 2 years. She used marital funds to finance hotel stays with her lover. She's not entitled to alimony. She's lucky we're not asking her to reimburse my client. Lauren's voice cracked. Nathan, please. I looked at her. You made your choice, Lauren. Now live with it. Paul tried to regroup. What about the house? We're selling it, Andrea said. 50-50 after the mortgage is paid off. Mrs. Cross can keep her car, her retirement account, and any personal belongings. Mr. Cross keeps his truck, his retirement, and his tools. That's it. Paul said, no alimony? No support? She makes $85,000 a year. She doesn't need support. She needs accountability. Lauren was crying now, full sobs. Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't respond. Paul looked at his client, then at the folder. We'll need time to review. You have 48 hours, Andrea said. After that, we file a contested divorce and make this public. I don't think your client wants that. Paul's jaw tightened. We'll be in touch. They agreed to the terms. The divorce was finalized 60 days later. The house sold in 3 weeks. We split the proceeds. Lauren moved to Charlotte. I heard she and Derek didn't last. Apparently, affairs don't translate well into real relationships. I stayed in Asheville, bought a small house in the mountains, 1 bedroom, big porch, view of the Blue Ridge. I got a dog, a rescue mutt named Hank. He's good company. I still work construction, still wake up at 5:30, still fix things that break. But now when I come home, the house is quiet in a good way. No tension, no lies, no wondering, just peace. 6 months after the divorce, I was at a coffee shop downtown. I was reading the paper when someone sat down across from me. I looked up. It was the florist, the woman who delivered the flowers to the motel. "I'm sorry," she said. "I don't usually do this, but I've thought about you a lot since that day." I sat down the paper. "Yeah. I just wanted to know, are you okay?" "I thought about it. I am." She smiled. "Good. You deserve to be." Her name was Claire. She owned the flower shop. We talked for an hour, then 2. She didn't ask about the divorce, didn't pry. She just listened. When we left, she handed me her card. "If you ever need flowers or coffee or just someone to talk to." I took it. "Thanks." I called her a week later. We've been seeing each other for 3 months now. It's slow, easy, honest. Everything my marriage wasn't. I don't regret sending those flowers. Some people said it was petty, cruel even, but I don't see it that way. I see it as the moment I stopped being a victim and started taking control. Lauren thought she could have it both ways. The stable husband at home, the exciting affair on the side. The flowers were my way of saying, not anymore. Not with anger, not with drama, just with truth. And truth, I've learned, is the most powerful weapon you can wield. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever had someone take your trust and shatter it, if you've ever had to rebuild your life from the ground up, this one's for you. You don't need revenge. You don't need to scream or break things or make a scene. You just need to know your worth and then protect it. Comment, "I know my worth," if this story hit home. Hit subscribe for more stories about men who chose dignity over destruction. Because the best way to win isn't to fight dirty, it's to walk away.